Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight to probably the most interesting hour update we have had yet. And this is day 34 in a row. I want to get rolling right into it because literally during the countdown, many people wonder, why is there a 5-minute countdown? Well, typically, my broadcast engineer, Stephen Haywood, says, actually, Greg, you need a 10-minute because there's so many things that are happening behind the scenes. I said, well, 10's not possible. But during the 5 minutes, there's so many things that have to get fired up. The social media, the way you guys can communicate to each other and you're chatting back and forth. You're actually doing that across platform between Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, some folks watching on Twitch. We have more viewers than just YouTube. Then of course all of the Integrity Television folks as well. So it's pretty broad spectrum here. But tonight, folks, probably the most important night yet. And I do not want to waste any time because I need the full hour tonight. The 5-minute countdown, literally with about 90 seconds to go, a minute and a half left, I finally got the video processed and drug over from this screen all the way to this screen, and I have it right there ready to go. Today, a couple of hours ago, I was interviewing Zhenya. Tonight, he's resting. Who knows? He may still be awake. We've had a very, very difficult day in Ukraine. So I'm going to start with about a 10-minute update. The negotiations went on today, and I just want to welcome everybody. I see you guys jumping in here from all over the country, from other countries, foreign lands, and I want to say thank you. As always, make sure you are liking and sharing and commenting, saying hello, whatever. All of that helps the algorithms, and that's what we're trying to improve on. Zinkster, I see you there with that super chat. Thank you, my friend, and you're being a blessing. Maureen Mayo, Blanchard, Oklahoma, you're very welcome. And tonight, I promise you guys, is going to be a special night. In fact, the next hour, I'm so confident that it's going to be a special night that call your friends. Tell them, say, listen, get on the YouTube. You're getting ready to see the truth. And tonight, folks, you're going to see the truth in real time. So I usually take more time, give the big greetings, the big hellos. And so listen, hello to everybody. We love you. Make sure you're chatting. Make sure you're telling the cities where you're from. All the guys in Ukraine watch in just a few hours when they wake up, and they love it. They're putting these programs on the screens in the refugee centers, and they're watching. And they may not be able to read all the English, but they can see the flags and they can read city names and hellos and all of that jazz. It's just an encouragement. So thank you. So I want to jump right into it today. I do not want to waste any time because I want to get to Zhenya. This is unbelievable what you're getting ready to see. Today was a big day of negotiations in Turkey. In fact, Zhenya and I will be talking more about that together in just a few moments. The video that Zhenya and I recorded was just a couple of hours ago. And it's special. And then he had to come back, and then I had to do the editing, because when I record the video an hour or so before the program, then I have to post-produce it and then have to get it uploaded through the software where we do all the streaming, and literally made it with 90 seconds to go. Beardy Day Crypto, I love that. Southeast. I mean, getting specific where he's located. That's awesome. So negotiations in Turkey today, folks. I actually do not believe anything you read, do not believe anything you see, and do not believe anything you hear about these negotiations. This was an absolute joke. Oh yeah, everything's going to get better. The forces are withdrawing north of Kyiv now. No, they're not withdrawing north of Kyiv. All they're doing is repositioning. So Jane and I will talk about this, but you come out of, hello, Gentilini's in St. Louis. You come out of this negotiation today in Turkey. 5 Ukrainians were there and 3 Russians were there. One of the Russians was there was Abramovich, and you may not know who he is, but I'm going to educate you on that in just a moment. Negotiations in Turkey today. We're seeing hope for the future. Russia has agreed to pull some of their troops back from Kyiv. 8 people came out of the negotiations, gave 8 different thoughts on what was happening. They may continue tomorrow, maybe. They also said today that nothing matters on the negotiations until they take all the data back to Vladimir Putin. So I'm going to give you the truth over the next 48 minutes. Dmitry Kuleba, foreign minister of Ukraine, Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin press secretary, main players here, whether they're the president or not, main players in these negotiations that are pre-presidential level, which would be Zelensky and Putin. They're not sitting down anytime soon. It would take a miracle. All these negotiation responses were so crazy. Finally, 3 hours ago, President Zelensky, he came out and he made a statement. He said there can be no compromise on the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine, and will not be. President Zelensky. The main thing out of the negotiations today was, okay, Russia's going to pull back some of their military, but we're going to take, the Eleanor, Lugansk, the Donetsk, and Crimea. We'll put that on the table and discuss it for 15 years. And then also, for your security guarantees, us, your invading nation of Russia, will make sure that your borders are secure. Now, to how many of you does that sound like a good idea, that the nation that attacks you will be the one that guarantees your defense? No, it doesn't work that way. And they start talking about, okay, well, we'll put the USA on that. We'll put Turkey on that. We'll put France on that. We'll put Germany on that. We'll put Poland on that. Same thing we had in 2014 when Russia invaded eastern Ukraine through the separatist movement. When Russia annexed Crimea, Article 5 did not work then. It will not work now. This is a joke. And I'm going to prove to you tonight how much of a joke it really is. So Zelensky's response, and this response was just 3 days ago. Kaylin Foster, I love President Hearts from Canada. Thank you. General Staff responded. Withdrawal of troops. Now, this is the big thing. Russia said, oh, we're withdrawing troops north of Kyiv. These statements from the General Staff and from President Zelensky just happened 3 hours ago. You see, when these negotiations take place, you have to remember, here in the United States, East Coast, or California, you're 7 to 10 hours behind. When you're waking up in the morning, most of the time the meetings are already done. They're, of course, ahead of us. But then you have to have time for these data points to kind of process through. Do not believe what you see coming on the headline 3 minutes after the negotiations have stopped and say, oh, we've got a solution here. Do not believe any of that. They're bombarding Ukraine tonight, the heaviest bombardment ever in the last 34 days is happening right now. So just 3 hours ago, Zelensky says his deal. And now the General Staff, there's their logo, says the withdrawal of troops is probably a rotation of individual units and is aimed at misleading the military leadership of the armed forces of Ukraine and creating a false imagination about the occupiers' refusal from the plan to encircle the city of Kyiv. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Make no mistake about it, folks. All this is shenanigans. Absolute shenanigans. I want to introduce you tonight to Roman Abramovich. Maybe you've heard of his name. Maybe you've heard the name oligarch. Through all the news of the last 34 days, you keep hearing this word, oligarch. What is an oligarch? I will tell you. An oligarch is a very small group of leaders who hold all the power and hold all the money. There are just a small, tight-knit circle around Vladimir Putin of oligarchs. Vladimir Putin's best friend is Roman Abramovich. He's an oligarch. He is the unofficial personal representative of Putin. You mean not Lavrov, the foreign minister? Not Peskov, his spokesperson? No. Abramovich, oligarch. He has a penthouse, and fine. I don't care if he's loaded. That's irrelevant. I just want to understand what we're talking about here. He has Gulfstream jet, 66 million, a Pagani car, 3.3 million, a Solaris yacht, 565 million, an Eclipse yacht, 710 million, a Bugatti for 2 million, 3 helicopters. He owns his own Boeing jet, 347 million, a Ferrari for going to the market and back. He owns Evraz Steel Company worth 492 million. He owns Norilsk Nickel Company. Of course, penthouse, his mansion worth 164 million. Oh, and by the way, he is the owner of the Chelsea Football Club. Where is the Chelsea Football Club located? England. What? Yes. Can't you just see how all this is connected? Roman Abramovich, Putin's best friend, his spokesman. Now, let me show you what Abramovich has been doing. He's been flying around, meeting with Zelensky and Putin. Roman Abramovich, the oligarch, former Chelsea FC owner who has been acting as President Putin's unofficial envoy in talks with Ukraine. In Moscow, Abramovich met Putin, presenting him with a handwritten note. This came last Wednesday, directly from President Zelensky, outlining the terms Ukraine would consider agreeing to in order to end the month-long war. Putin's initial response was unequivocal. Tell him, I will thrash them. So today, in the official meeting in Turkey, who was the spokesman doing all the talking for Russia? Abramovich. He just happened to show up. Do you see the jokes and the games? The guy has no governmental position. He's just a loaded oligarch, and he's Putin's buddy. That's why you have to wait for these things to process through 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. And then you begin to get the real story. I want to share with you about Chernobyl right now. Chernobyl is turning into a potential disaster. If you look at the picture on the right, that is actually the little warning signs that are in the ground. Miles and miles and miles around Chernobyl, because the ground is still radioactive. And the deeper you dig, the worse it gets. Unfortunately, Russia is literally building a military base, an ammunition dump in Chernobyl. I remind you, this is just 60 miles as the crow flies north of Kyiv. While they're doing this, they are using machinery. They are digging foundations. They are moving dirt. The radioactive levels are going up and up and up. Not to mention the fires that are burning, not to mention the munitions dump. So just today, International Atomic Commission, they've actually sent an emergency guy. He's made it into Lviv. His hopes are to somehow get some type of passage safely so that he can evaluate Chernobyl. Chernobyl is a problem right now, and everybody's screaming it, but there's nothing that anybody can do about it. Dmitry Peskov came out and said, if you do not pay us in rubles, we will turn the gas off to Europe. The pot's brewing, folks. Of course, Europe is saying by contract, we do not have to pay you in rubles. We can pay you in euros or dollars. Peskov and Putin are coming back and saying, hey, if you do not pay us in rubles, we will turn the gas off. Zhenya is going to be talking about that in just a moment. And finally, folks, you watch your news over the last couple of days and you see how everyone's been poisoned at the last negotiations. Oh, the guy from Russia, Abramovich, was poisoned. He had scales on his face. Oh, the representatives from Ukraine were poisoned at the last. Folks, fake news. Nobody has been poisoned. If you're out there and you're seeing that, I'm telling you right now, nobody, no Russian and no Ukrainian that are negotiating in the shenanigans has been poisoned. Take it off of the table. Finally, this was sent in by a FedEx employee to me. FedEx is delivering critical aid for Ukrainian refugees. Over the weekend, we proudly worked with Direct Relief to deliver 76 tons of medical aid for Ukrainian refugees via a FedEx humanitarian relief flight from Memphis, Tennessee to Warsaw, Poland. Big thank you to FedEx. You know, all these people out there that are running all these conspiracy theories, and many of them are Christians, I'm sad to say, and I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor, I'm a minister, I'm a musician, a worship leader, but the church so many times just run around with all these conspiracy theories. Folks, take your conspiracy theories off the table. If Russia really was this good of a place, if Putin really was doing a valiant effort, and if Ukraine was full of Nazis and they need to be wiped off the face of the planet, do you think that every stinking company on the planet that are many times not good leadership, not godly, or not Christian, would be leaving Russia and would be supporting Ukraine? No, these are smart people losing out on their own finances by leaving by leaving Russia. Come on. This is not very difficult to see. We're telling you the truth. Do not believe the mess. Zelensky is not the Antichrist. If you hear it, flush it down the toilet. Putin is an evil man who needs Jesus. Russian people are deceived. There are many wonderful Russian people. Do not lump them all into one group. Oh, they're all evil. No, they're not. There are wonderful Russian people whom I love very much. Just like there are wonderful Ukrainians, just like there are wonderful Canadians, wonderful Americans, and we can go to every nation in the world. Those are the facts, I promise you. Now, folks, buckle your seatbelts. I want to jump in here. I will be managing the chat. We'll be talking, and I'll tell you what. Get ready. This happened just a little while ago, right before we went live. Had a great talk with Zhenya, and you do not want to miss 1 second of this, because you're getting ready to get the true story over the next 40 minutes. All right, so
right now we have a siren, so like,
is that the video you just sent me?
yes, it's right now.
Okay.
If you want, I can try.
No, I've got the video. I'll clip that in so people can hear it.
This is Khmelnytsky now.
We're recording this now. It is 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. It is 11:30 at night in Khmelnytsky, and right now they're under the air raid. So we can see that for sure the Russian military is ceasing their hostilities after all the negotiations today. Right?
Yeah.
They're calming down.
Almost.
We're withdrawing from Kyiv. We're going to go back and be nice people. And not only that, we're going to present a plan that once we have an agreement, the invading nation will be a part of the team that secures your security for the future. So, yeah, that sounds like a real winning plan. And of course, at some point, either most likely after this interview with Eugenia, I'll be showing the headlines where the Western media, they figured it out real quick. This was just a lot of talking today, a lot of confusion as normal. So with that said, how's your day going?
The day was good. I mean, it was a good working day, helping people, working with documents. Some people lost their documents because it was burned out in the fire when they left their homes, and the homes were bombarded.
Let me interrupt you for a second. So last night I was sharing with people the number, according to the United Nations, of refugees that have already left Ukraine, which is between 3 and 4 million. We also have 6.5 million internal refugees. And then they gave another number that's not really refugee numbers, but like, I can't remember the word it was, but it was like lost people, just confused, not knowing where to go, not really in the refugee status, but just moving from place to place and trying to be safe. And they had that number in the millions of people. But you made a mention about documents. Now, for most people watching in America or maybe even other countries, they do not understand what you're saying. For example, basically here in the U.S., we have a driver's license. But when these people are being bombed, their house is destroyed, and all they're doing is running for their life, they have lost their passports, their national ID cards, birth certificates, and it's a struggle for them to do anything without documents.
Yes, basically these people cannot rent a house like our apartment because they cannot, show who they are, where they're from. And let's say a lot of database of internet, like local, like Ukrainian database are lost. I mean, it's down yet, and it's in process of restoration. But during that time, people trying to have at least some documents. They have, like right now we have in a shelter one, we have people from Bordanka, and probably you've heard about the Bordanka, how Russians destroyed it, and where they firing it up and so on. And these people, like
I'll show Bordanka on the map, but that city's has major destruction.
I mean, yes, a lot of, and it was under occupation. Let's say, you may show it, and so family and mother with 2 adult sons, but just one has a passport, so they cannot get any social help until they will get any documents. They have both of them, mother and the adult son. The older one has nothing, no bank cards, no any smartphone application which can prove or show any ID, no driver license, nothing. Just nothing. Some of them got in our place just having slippers. I mean, not having shoes athletic shoes, whatever. Just slippers. So we help these people and regularly, helping to find some shoes or buy some shoes. And yesterday, you've heard, last night you've heard the story, the update from Magnitsky from our place, that shelter 3 had some virus, some kid brought probably some virus and shared it. There was a virus, and we had to call 2 times ambulance, and they were helping us like with the different ways. And because of that one family couldn't leave, and this family had 5 kids and 5 adults. So they had to stay. They had only 1,200 hryvnia and the tickets costed 1,300, and so one of the soldiers found out there on the railway station this situation. He needed 100 hryvnia to them, so they did buy tickets, and it was in the morning, and in the 4 p.m. The train had to leave at 8 p.m. and at 4 p.m. doctors say it is not possible for you to leave. You need medical help. So their tickets gone, and they were like destroyed because of that. So surely, like, because of the non-refundable, and because there is good people who helping us financially, and our ministry can buy these tickets from your name for your money. We said, okay, don't worry, we will buy these tickets. You will. Don't worry about that.
Let's do this so people understand, because 99.9% of people in here misunderstood you when you said the word hryvnia. That is the currency. That's okay. That's the currency of Ukraine. And at this moment, so all this family of 10 had was 1,200 hryvnia.
Yes.
Okay, folks, just so you know, that's $40 US. That's it. Right at this moment, $40.84.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly. But you see, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I only want to share what's accurate and always double check with you before I share. Many times when the initial bombings or missiles come, of course, fear hits people. But for the folks who run to the shelter and then, unfortunately, their home's destroyed, they only have what they grabbed running to the shelter. It's gone. It's not like we live in America or even in other nations. You know, a lot of people that live in the flats, they may have a garage over a few hundred meters away, maybe. They may have some things stored at the family dachi in the village, maybe outside of the city. But in reality, what these families have is what is inside their flat, what's inside their apartment. And if that's destroyed, they really do struggle to have anything. You said yourself, they're coming to you with slippers. You told me the other day, we're even having to clothe people, get them jeans, etc. They're just running.
Yeah. Probably I will invite Greg to our group of like the chat on Telegram, for he could read the real stories, like what we are looking for. Okay, Greg? This is reality.
Yagatov.
Okay. This is reality.
Listen,
yes, and these people...
I told my mother and my wife and my father yesterday that I was seriously considered just thinking come to Khmelnytsky right now. And they started beating me. You're not going to Khmelnytsky right now. I said, well, I'll go to Poland. No, because then you'll go across the border and you'll end up in Khmelnytsky. Buddy, I'm that close. I'm that close, you know. But I'm doing what I can do here. We're raising money and we're telling the truth. But I would love to be there, to be honest, to support on the ground.
The other time I would answer to this, welcome to Ukraine, but thank you for helping.
Stay where I'm at?
Yes.
And tell the truth and raise money.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And listen, you and I have been in some crazy situations together. Crazy over all these years. And for you to tell me, stay somewhere safe, I understand what you're saying. But I can tell you, bud,
yes,
I can tell you, I'll be there in a New York minute, if you know that slang. But anyway, we're working together day by day. So, Zhenya, I wanted to ask you this. Today, there were negotiations in Turkey, and everybody's making their statements. What's so interesting to me is there were 5 main Ukrainian representatives there, and I know of at least 3 Russian representatives. And when the meetings were over, I was sent all the reports. So everybody that's negotiating comes out and tells their story. This is what I heard. This is what we were talking about. And I'm just going to be honest and straight along. All 8 people said 8 different things. There were some major things they were talking about, but then it was like they almost started giving their opinions. And honestly, I'm going to talk about this after our interview tonight. But one of the representatives for Russia was Abramovich, an oligarch.
Yeah, Abramovich.
Abramovich, an oligarch. And I'm going to teach people tonight what an oligarch is. But he's just a billionaire citizen who's Putin's best friend. And he's down doing a lot of the negotiations. He's passing notes back and forth between Zelensky and Putin. In fact, Zelensky sent a note from himself to Putin saying this is what would be required for the war to stop on the Ukrainian side. And then Abramovich took the note to Putin, and Putin, I quote, says, "Unacceptable, I will thrash them." So we see all these stories going on, and then the Russian military is pulling out of Kyiv, but they're coming stronger in Donbass. And right now at 11:40 p.m., you just were under an air raid siren. So, and you're nowhere near any of those zones. It's chaos, absolute chaos. So as a Ukrainian, I'm going to talk about this tonight after our interview, but what are your thoughts on these negotiations? How is the atmosphere inside Ukraine? I know people are getting exhausted of this, tired, working hard. What's the feel amongst Ukrainians in regard to all of this?
At first, like this negotiation and this new project of having a new group of countries who will guarantee our safety, and we've heard this story and it's already failed, the Budapest memorandum, and we already heard it. Okay, it's a well-known story, and the reality is all our guarantees, the country who are guaranteeing our protection, our border, in the case of our border will be destroyed, crossed, they will fight for us as a guarantee country. No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So the new project, no, it doesn't work. You see it.
Zelensky even said this in his speech to NATO. Another siren?
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Okay. Zelensky even said this in his speech to NATO a few days ago. Budapest failed. Article 5 failed. And now all they did today was talk about Article 5. In fact, some of the negotiators came out, Zhenya, and had the audacity, like, you know that word, audacity? Like, they had the courage to say, well, you know, Russia will gladly be the security guarantee of Ukraine. We will restore to these borders. We will talk about Crimea over the next 15 years, and we'll keep LNR, we'll keep DNR. Ukraine can have everything else. No military. They're neutral. They can join the EU, but Russia, we will guarantee their border. You telling me, sir?
It is funny, but not so.
It's unbelievable.
Reality is, it's unbelievable, but okay. Let's come to reality. All of these stories, yes, from inside, it sounds crazy. To be honest, it's like it creates a lot of questions until to our President Zelensky. What's going on, and what was going on before? Why we had the all of information before 2 months before about the threats, and we didn't prepare, didn't mind the main roads, and so on, so on. Why during 24 hours some of the groups could reach in 2 days the center of Kiev? Surely we destroyed them, but we didn't create any blog post. We didn't do we were not prepared. A lot of countries were telling us, okay, here's a threat, and so on, but okay, it's other stories. What's going on now? Yes, it sounds sometimes funny, but it is not funny. Absolutely. Why? It is funny when you have a choice. It is funny, but for us, it's a small, sometimes like a breach of hope to any of that. But at this moment, no one, even MiG, any old Soviet aircraft could not be given or sold to Ukraine because it's blocked by some of NATO country. And it's in all of it, yes, you can read all of these stories, you can read all of this, scenarios, but it is not funny for us. Like to say, we will fight, and this is the only choice we have. We cannot make a pressure. Like Ukrainians cannot make a pressure, create a pressure, or any country of NATO. We can ask, we can beg, we can share, we can encourage, we can say thank you for the weapon you're giving us. We're thankful.
You saw last night. I know today you watched the show from last night, the update from last night.
Sorry, it's explosion in Khmelnytsky.
Excuse me?
It is exploding in Khmelnytsky. Sorry.
Man, go.
Oh, no, I need to be in the corridor now. Это выбух. Відійдіть від вікон. I need to be in the corridor.
Man, go.
Man, I have one grandma and grandfather. I cannot take them down.
So what are you going to do with them?
Oh.
Listen. Take care of those people. Call me back.
Okay.
Call me back.
Okay, I will. Bye.
Bye. Folks, that's not made up. It's 4:46 p.m. afternoon. I'm going to do some checking and be back. I promise you there's nothing fabricated. The sirens were already going off. The reason when the sirens went off that Zhenya did not go to the shelter is because he has his wife's grandparents there. They're 90 years old. They cannot leave Khmelnytsky. He's taking care of them. So I'll be back. All right, brother. It's 6:14 p.m. now. 1:14 a.m. your time. I've spoken with. Well, we were on when this happened a little while ago. I've already spoken with Sasha Beskarovanya and Rostislav Kudin, just trying to confirm. Sasha I don't know where Sasha is tonight, but he said that the explosions that went off were very strong and rattled his building. It's looking like they're in Grechani. So, I mean, dude, this was not set up. We don't play with this. This is just unbelievable timing when you and I were trying to pre-record a video. So I've got the pictures. What's going on?
Yeah, the explosion was, let's say, our, how you call it?
Neft.
Our, no, yeah,
Oil
our,
Depot.
wait a minute.
Auto show.
Our air defense system worked. So this is why, like, it was, let's say, it was okay enough. It was closed and they hit it, the cruise missile. So, but we were attacked by two cruise missiles just an hour ago. About that. So praise God, we're doing fine. Yeah.
And at the same time, folks, let me jump in here for a moment because I don't want you to be misunderstanding. Yes, I'm in the same clothes. Zhenya and I were making a video because he needs to be asleep right now. I have him live 2 to 3 times a week. But we were just talking about the updates and talking about the negotiations, and I wanted his opinion from being inside the country because it was a joke today on the negotiations, to be honest with you. And we were recording. This was just a few hours ago, and the warning sirens were already going off. He can't leave. He's got his wife's grandparents there. They're 90 and 91. And so we're just talking, and then the next thing I know, that unfolds. It was just a couple of hours ago. They're still awake. The entire nation is under air raid signals. I'm going to continue that interview. He is safe. Khmelnytsky was hit. In fact, I will show you exactly where. This is our city. This is where we work. And let me pull this back, and I'm going to actually, let me go to a Google map. I need to go to a different one so I can zoom in here and show you a satellite. Actually, let me see if I can do it here because I can mark on this one. How do I get the satellite on this? I think right here. Aerial. There we go. Now, let me get to Khmelnytsky, and I will show you. I'm going to show you where Zhenya was. I'm going to show you where Rostik was. I'm going to show you where Beskirovanya, who's another friend of mine. I've got lots of friends there. But tonight, right now, pretty much the entire nation is under air raid. And I can tell you, let me put a little pin here, but our city of Starokonstantinov was hit again. The military base just demolished tonight again. That's a 40-minute drive. And then you come to Khmelnytsky. This is where Zhenya is. And I'm going to zoom in here. Here we go. And it's switching over. Good. This is Khmelnytsky, a city of 300,000 people. And you see the word here. You can't, but it's Grechani. I'll mark it. Let's just take this pin size down. So roughly, I can't show everything, but I can tell you Zhenya's home is right here. This is where he's talking to me from. Okay. And then Rostik, who we've also had on here, was actually in his home, which is by the park, cut through. Rostik's right here. And then my friend Beskirovany's here. The church we work with, Dawn of Life, is here. And the cruise missiles tonight hit Griciani. Where's it at? Oh, right here. Right here. But 2 miles from Zhenia's house, 1.5 miles from Rostik's. Sorry for that. 2 miles, 2.5 miles from the church. And my friend Sasha's here. His entire building was rattled by these explosions. This is a fuel and supply depot. And this was struck tonight, this region. There are people that live here. It's middle of the night. The picture that we flipped up during the talk with Zhenya was actually a picture of the strike. So everybody that's in here live, I want you to understand this is just a couple of hours ago. I know I'm in the same shirt because I did not even have time to put my Ukraine shirt on tonight. So that's the deal. That's what's happened. And now let's get back to the interview with Zhenya, because it's going to get real now. Basically, air signals went off and are going off all over the entire country at random times. And Kyiv right now is being bombarded. In fact, I will clip that in to this interview where we're talking, but Kyiv right now is being bombarded. Take a look at this. This is right now. So, Zhenya, back to our conversation. What's going on, man? I mean, all these hopeful negotiations and talks, and the title of the program tonight is Progress or Regress. I just don't understand how you can have all these negotiations with the aggressor, and then, I mean, they're just attacking Ukraine everywhere. Everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, and right now it's the Kyiv is under attack, and
Yes.
and right now, right now, and
Right. So when you say right now, it's 6-8.
it means right in this moment, right in this moment,
Kyiv
there
is
are
being
sirens
bombarded.
attacking probably by cruise missiles. This is what I think. So you asking how it is possible? Okay.
I know.
What choice we have?
Correct.
What kind of choice we have? Okay. Like, do we have a lot of a huge choice? Let's say, and we can choose.
What
And
mentality?
we can choose.
What mentality though does that give you when on the day of negotiations, and we had some positives, we had some bad things, and many world leaders said, okay, whatever, we'll believe it when we see it. Everything right now is just words. But literally, just hours later, I mean, okay, so what? You say you're rotating some military out of Kyiv and then you bombard it. What's the difference? You see what I'm saying?
I see. My thoughts is about the other stuff right
Okay.
now. It's just okay. The example, Turkey, they shut down their air flight. Did Russia started in the war with Turkey? No, they blocked two military ships in Bosphor. Didn't let them in the Black Sea.
Mm-hmm.
So what Russia did? They started war? No. What about Ukraine? We have no the same power, let's say. I mean, not the soldiers, not the character. I mean the weapon.
Supplies.
We don't supplies. Okay, not just supplies. We don't have same level aircrafts and so on. The system
Technology.
and defense system, and yes, and Russia, they know it quite well, and all the countries. You're asking what kind of signals? I mean, this is a signals to the world, to the all this they attacking and destroying Ukraine, and knowing, almost knowing, and I hope that that one country made, at least one country will make Putin and Russian soldiers disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yes.
just Turkey in the past, but one country will stand up and say, hey, 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 that's enough. We
My
are
ge-
not okay.
my guess is, if any, a couple, probably just from what we've watched for a month, Zhenya, most likely it would either be Poland or Great Britain. I mean, really, they're the two
But
nations. But I mean, I'm just being honest with you.
yeah, I understand.
I mean, so what? Estonia, they're ready to go to war, but they're tiny. They're nothing. I mean, they're wonderful. That's not what I mean, but it's insignificant. Great Britain is not insignificant. Poland is not insignificant. Of course, the United States. As I talked about last night, maybe we can just go over to Afghanistan and get all of that stuff from the Taliban.
Okay, it's like we can talk, in this room, like whatever we can. We wish,
Yes.
It's like it's. I think it's if one person, but one voice in some countries will raise up, will be unified, and will make something, then yes, and
Yes.
I mean, but talking from my side, this is like yes, surely we want to save Ukrainians. Our president, he wants to save Ukrainians lives, soldiers, mothers, kids, families, houses, our land, and so
I just have a problem personally. We've done this now. This is day 34. And Zhenya, I'm like you. I want this over, and I want victory. Only victory.
yes,
Period.
yes,
Because anything else after all of this is unacceptable. Only victory. Because let's say we just stop, everybody goes home. You've done nothing but just delayed the inevitable for the future generation. This has to stop now. It has to never happen again. And I really have a problem on a day of negotiations where we were supposedly making some progress, the same night, just an unleashing of
yes,
air attacks. Listen, in Sumy today, I'm not going to show this, but you and I are talking. In Sumy, a tank moved up to a block point and blew itself up just as like a suicide bomber. These are terrorist activities. This is not military activities. Civilians are targets. Civilian infrastructure is target. Indiscriminate bombing. Forget this Russian DNA and Ukrainian DNA. Okay, well, if that's what you're talking about in the east of Ukraine, why did you just bomb Khmelnytsky 30 minutes ago? Why are you bombing Lviv? Why are you bombing Ivano-Frankivsk? It makes no sense on the argument.
man, this is reality. They sell oil. Okay, through other, they blocked our sea ports.
Completely
But
blockade.
they
Yes.
have, yes, and but their ports are open, and somebody's still buying their oil, and it seems to me it's calculated. The every day the world buying from Russia the oil for which like equal of 50 rockets, cruise missiles per
50
day.
cruise missiles.
Yeah, per day.
Hmm.
So the world is watching TV show and still buying it.
Correct. And
So like,
unfortunately, this is not a TV show for Ukraine. It's
no,
it's the sacrificial lamb.
yes, and at this moment, I'm especially use this TV show because it is from our side is we yelling, we shouting, we asking, we making concerts, posting on Facebook, YouTube. I don't know. It seems to me that every corner, I mean, the dog's house knows the problem of Ukraine. I mean, no surprise, but
But
the business is business.
dingy at the
So
dingy. Money.
yeah, and if it's bloody money, the only people, I mean, just normal, just usual people, people in Great Britain, people in United States, people in Germany, in Israel, they can make something.
Yes.
Otherwise, uh, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but otherwise, every country will can take the same position as Hungary got.
Yeah.
That
Hungary is not in a.
we are care of our people. We don't
Mhm.
want a problem with Russia. We don't want a crisis in economical crisis and the problems in our country, and it's easy to understand.
But Zhenya, as
Ukrainians,
yeah.
okay, like what about Ukrainians? We are in Hungary, and we care about Hungarians. That's easy to understand.
But man, listen, don't become discouraged. Listen to
No,
me.
no, no, no,
I know.
no.
Just listen. Just listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change. And
For sure.
it's going to change. That's what I'm not talking about discouragement in your heart. I'm talking about don't be discouraged. It's going to change. Unfortunately, it's ridiculous what the world is allowing before it changes. Man,
Yes. Yes. This is the. I
that's
have
the
no.
problem.
We used. Okay, sorry. Maybe you can cut everything.
I'm not editing.
I'm saying the wrong. Okay, you can edit whatever. Yeah. Let's say maybe it will be a wrong comparison, but the society and like the world are used to watch. I mean, blockbusters. I mean, some movies
Mhm.
with a lot of like,
Hollywood.
Hollywood,
Yeah.
uh, and are used to that because the war is quite so far. I mean,
Well,
that it's easy. We used to watch the war from the screens,
yeah, the theater.
and yes, and and this habit, let's say, this this is just a normal picture sometimes
Let me put some
until you accept and receive some refugee to your home,
here's the
until
deal.
you touch it.
The world has become desensitized to the depravity of war. I think that's what you're trying to say. It has become
Yes.
desensitized through media. Larry just came over, okay? Walked in my studio and says, Greg, I've got a couple stories for you to share. Okay, one about Valia,
Okay.
one about Ilchisen. I'm going to share them tomorrow night. So he
Okay.
wrote them out for me. And he did not know that Khmelnytsky had been bombed. I mean, he was just here while after the bombing. So he's sitting right here in the studio and giving me this, and we're talking, and I said, do you know Khmelnytsky was just bombed? And man, he couldn't even talk. He's crying. You know, when we experienced that a little while ago, and it happened real time when we were preparing this video for tonight, I mean, when you went away and then I hung up, my stomach was very sick because it's real to me. I know every street. I know so many people. I mean, you know, man, it's my second home. I sit in those cafes and I know the people that work in those cafes. I just, it's my city. And when it happened just a little while ago, it was like my stomach was like really sick. And then Larry's crying. And that's what we're trying to communicate. You said yourself, one by one, eventually it's got to get to the right person, the right group where people say enough is enough. And we're willing to take the threat of nuclear. We're willing to take the threat of making Putin mad. Who cares? This is a human catastrophe and it must stop. It happened in World War II when enough was enough, but it took years. We cannot allow that to happen again. That's why we're here every night sharing, telling stories. It's why you're with me. It's middle of the night. You just came back from being bombed, and we keep telling the truth. We're not going to stop.
Yes, and this is important, and this is, I mean, for about the discouragement. It's not like, I mean, I do pray, and this is, you know, in our like chat of shelter ministry, when it started, it was, okay, be quiet, there is psalm, the scripture, and no stress, care about people. The shelter number one, taking people down to the shelter, I mean, the bomb shelter, moving to other building. And we do it, and we trust God, and we believe, and we do pray, and doesn't matter how this picture, I mean, looks like. Yes, I mean, it's just craziness, madness. No, for today, the promise, the honor, the word means nothing. I mean, the leader of country, the huge country, can promise today and do nothing after it. It means nothing. Nothing, not just for his country. It's nothing for other countries as well. People, I mean, just ignoring it. Oh, he's a liar. Yeah, no, we're still having business with him.
Correct.
Okay, years and years he's lying. No, I will not attack. Oh, yes, I admit you, and I agree with the Ukrainian's territory in 1991. He says, yes, I agree, or later, let's say. And now
Virginia,
the world are used.
Correct.
Okay.
I haven't even showed the videos I have because it's in the Russian language. I show lots of stuff in Russian or Ukrainian. We translate it even during the daytime. If there's stuff I need help on, I send it to you guys. You know, you send me the translation. Everything I'm doing is as accurate as possible. I could literally show 10 different videos right now of President Putin saying, I will never attack Ukraine. I respect their borders. We will never attack Ukraine. Lavrov, we will never attack Ukraine. We're negotiating peace today and missiles are flying. I will never attack Poland. I will never attack Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Okay. Exactly.
And this became normal. That's this president, he's a liar. This country are like, I mean, they are thieves, blah blah blah. But we're selling and buying from him. So it means that we somehow agree with that. We agree to have business, to have, I mean, whatever. Okay, let's take it out. I want to add it. Today was a nice day. We did help people. One lady she cares about mother and who is disabled, and she lost a job, and we found it, and we helping her. Going to, I will send the picture of her.
Okay.
We're visiting her, taking diapers, taking food because she has no money. Is it great? Yes. And we did help a family with 5 kids and 5 adults. We did help them. We did buy tickets for them, and we helped them. Took them to railway station, and we contact. By the way, Rostislav did help as well. Contact
Praise
to
God.
Smila
Hmm.
city, and they are on the way in the train, and we communicate with churches how to help them there, and they already are the volunteers or chaplain or pastor meeting them. Okay, and this is, we did help. We did help one man with the work. He left his. I mean, he has nothing. He left everything close to Kiev. So we did help to have a job. Have not completely full documents, but he has at least passport. Okay, I mean, okay, that's more than enough. To have passport is enough.
Yeah.
And so it means this day was a great day by helping people, expressing love, involving new volunteers, telling them, share them our hearts that we are here to help people. It's not just about accommodation.
Man,
And this is okay. This is what's going on. And thank you for all who helps us. And from other side, the whole the world can help us more, not just in here, but by posting what's going on, but by doing this kind of programs like you, Pastor Greg, do.
hmm,
And this is important. If everybody would share at least a part of it, would just, hey, 2000s maybe,
you
then
have to.
probably people will understand a bit more. Maybe you will feel. Maybe we will pray for people. Okay, I have a like. Okay, I don't know how to say it. Like, I mean, like, wrong English. I have no English, let's say, but I'm trying to speak because I believe it's important. So, but somehow I will pray for the miracle, for people would understand me by heart, would understand Ukrainians by heart. We are
Here's
not the war nation. We are a nation
correct.
who left our nuclear weapon by and trusted other country. And now we wait for at least some leaders will rise up and God will rise his people.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, Jaka, it's, your city was literally just bombed. And, you know, that that changes the local story. That changes our narrative every day because now it's in our backyard. That's a sling.
Yeah,
It's in
it
our.
was three and some miles from me.
I know exactly where it was. I'm going to show them. Um, but man, through all of that, you still look into this camera and you say, it was still a good day. We helped people, one person at a time. That's the
Hmm.
message that I'm trying to share. That's why I'm here every night, because what
Hmm.
you just said, my city was bombed 3 miles from my house, but today was a good day because we helped people. That is real Ukraine. And this is what Ukraine needs right now. One person at a time, one step at a time. But there has to be some very high level nations step up and say, okay, in Russian, we would say it this way. Все. Все. That's it. We've reached a limit. It's time to go. And I don't know. I still come back to it. How can you have all of these talks and negotiations and then literally bomb the entire nation at the same time? I have a problem with that.
I want to show it to you. Now it's 1:40.
Yes.
While we talking, our people in chat discussing the ministry about the morning plan. Yes, this is maybe you've seen the lights. It goes on and off.
Yeah.
Because people are sending messages, send me pictures, asking about what we're gonna do in the morning, and this is
it's our life.
I'm proud of these people.
I'm proud of them too, and I'm proud of you. Jacob, thank you for being on here. And folks, once again, I promise you, we did not plan this. It's just kind of goofy. Every time we talk, sometimes something interesting happens.
Yeah.
And for sure, we are happy. It's a good day, but our stomachs are a little turned right now. Our precious Khmelnytsky has been hit tonight. All right, my friend, you need to get some rest. You've got to roll in the morning. I'll carry the truth.
Thank you.
And I'm watching, dude. If anything happens, I'll call and wake you up. Love you.
Okay, one more time. Thank you all the friends who helping Ukrainians, different places, different churches, different cities. I mean, having Ukrainian flags, whatever. Like any way you support Ukraine now and stand with us. Thank you very much.
Where's your heart?
And God bless. God bless.
Where's your heart?
My heart?
You always give us the heart symbol. Love you, buddy.
Bye.
All right, bye. Folks, there you have it. Thank you for staying a few extra minutes tonight. I see your message there, Shirley. I did see one question, and we'll see you in 23 hours. Folks, it is so important that you like, that you share. I mean, we've had up over 80 viewers at one point on YouTube. If you're in there, just hit that like button, hit that share. Honestly, because it's the only way we're going to get the message to more people. When people flip open their YouTube, it'll start to appear, and next thing you know, it'll grow more and more. Pastor Kent did ask a question during that. Was NATO doing exercises and have stepped up the exercises? So during the interview, I jumped over and checked it, and the answer to that is yes. Let me go over here to the map, and I will show you guys. We do need to pay attention to this because today NATO did increase their exercises. I'm going to pull up a map. It was a massive exercise, actually, and I will show you where it took place. I just looked it up. Let's go over here to the map, and this is what we'll close with tonight. Let's go to blue for our Ukraine. Here's the... Hey, that's red. Let's go to blue. Got to go to blue right now. Here is the border of Poland. Poland, by the way, folks, is a huge country. There's Poland, and this is Latvia. Vilnius, Riga, Latvia, Vilnius, Lithuania. This is Belarus right here. And the NATO, and this is Ukraine. So you've got Ukraine, you've got Belarus, you've got Poland. Today, NATO was doing major exercises right there. We're talking the heaviest exercises yet, right up against the border. So it's interesting. We're on the day where, great negotiations on the same day that literally the arsenal was unloaded on Ukraine. Our precious city was hit. We showed you the video. It was just 2 hours ago of Kyiv being bombarded. I've been checking all of my messages over here coming from Ukraine are rolling nonstop, and these cities are still being bombarded. Khmelnytsky has not been hit again. Praise God. But other cities that we love dearly are being bombarded tonight. And NATO is ramping up their exercises. As we know, in 23 hours, this world changes. It's almost like the soap opera as the world turns. But I feel like we're on the edge of night. Pretty soon, we're going to need General Hospital. But we will stay young and restless. And that's all the soap operas I know. Hey, we still got a smile. And as Jania said, my city was bombed, but it was still a good day. We helped people. We will continue. You guys rest well tonight, and we'll see you in 23 hours. Good night.